Meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Baker. Here. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Council President Jones.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Andrea. At this time, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Andrea, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, the first person that we have is B. Sosick.
Please come forward.
Ms. Sosick, if you could push the button.
A little green light will come on when you press the button.
It's right on the base.
There it is. I found it. Okay. I wanted to discuss the source of income protection because I am a resident in the warehouse district. I'm raising a granddaughter, and I'm sorry, we're going to lose our home. I pay my rent on time. Actually, I pay my rent before time. Snavely purchased our building in September, and we received a non-renewal notice October 25th. No reason. I asked for a reason in writing. They would not give me one. I paid my rent. We don't accept partial payment. Well, I have a granddaughter now. I have some help with rent, so there's a third-party payer. But ironically, across the bridge at the Forest City Apartments, they do accept partial payment. Same owners. So what's the problem accepting it from where I am? I've been there for 6 years. No problems. I'm a good tenant. I have good credit. Everything's okay. The only problem is the way the rent is paid. They don't want to accept 2 payments. I make 1 payment, the nonprofit pays the other part. But it's not paid together. It must be in 1 check. So we have a 60-day non-renewal notice. That means no moving money, no money for deposit, no money for partial rent. It just sprang up on me. And it'll take 30 days to get my $1,140 back that they have. So that means we're going to have to be homeless till I get the money together and find a place to live. But what do you tell the other landlord? We pay our rent before time, we have good credit, and we're forced to leave with nowhere to go. So she thanks God every night. She says, thank you, Jesus. I'm sorry for our apartment home. She doesn't know she's not going to have a home for long. She's only 4. I got her. She was almost 19 months old. So I have help to pay the rent. What do you tell a child? We have no home. How can Nona help? Nona is supposed to take care of you. We will have no home. What do you tell a child? A little girl, 4 years old. So if there were a source of income protection, we wouldn't have to go through this. There wouldn't be sleepless nights. There wouldn't be chest pains. There wouldn't be any of this. Staying up all night. Where are you going to go? Looking for places that cost more than what our rent is now. So if they would consider the source of income protection, Cleveland Heights has it, Shaker Heights has it, 2 others, Warrensville Heights and South Euclid, and the Village of Lindale. So please, when it comes up, if it comes up, consider it. There are grandparents raising grandchildren who now need help. May not have needed it before, but they need it now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dante Bacchuzzi.
Good evening, council members. My name is Dante Bacuzzi. I'm here speaking on behalf of the renewal of the Progressive Field upcoming contract. I'm a chef here in Cleveland. I have about 10 restaurants, and I benefit hugely from all the sports teams we have, especially the Indians. I just opened a restaurant in East Fourth, Goma it's called, and we purposely waited for the baseball season to start just because of the influx of people coming out and just the amount of people coming in for dinner before the game, after the game. We would do it on an average of at least 300 customers coming in for dinner. The amount of jobs it creates, I mean, all restaurants are looking for staff, and fortunately I'm doing pretty good, but it's just this huge demand because of all of this stuff that's going on. I have Dante's Inferno, which is in Progressive Field, and I would say it's a huge honor just to be a part of the system, and to sit there and go to the World Series and be a part of this great team that's bringing all this glory to town, and selling like 800 pizzas on those big days. It's just cool to be a part of it. Down in Tremont, I have a catering company, and throughout the year we provide meals for the Indians and all the traveling teams that come in. And last year alone, we probably did over $120,000 in revenue just in feeding these teams as they're coming in. So, I mean, it's a huge part of our industry, and, I'm just here to support it because I think it's important, and that's one of the great things. I'm glad I came back to Cleveland to be a part of all these changes and all these, this great growth that we have. I also have Inferno in the Flats, which is the same idea. It fills up before all the games, the amount of fans that come in, all the travelers coming in from out of town, staying at the Aloft Hotel, patronizing our restaurants. It's just a great thing to have, and I'd hate to see it leave. And that's it. Thank you.
Lou?
Good evening. A couple meetings ago, I mentioned about kinship care. Here came to a grandmom. Through her effort, she's helping raising her granddaughter. But without proper help, her needs cannot be met immediately because your rent due date is fixed. Unfortunately, in the state of Ohio, the law actually allows landlord to refuse any payment if it's not on the due date or before due date. So actually, we even have a slumlord. They will still accept your late payment and still file eviction on you. And this was the reason why I did mention about that, because lots of people thought grandparents or uncle, aunties, they will love their relatives, they will take them in. But they did not consider in today's economy, lots of these people, they may not be able to afford to have an extra mouth in their family to be fed, to be clothed, to be supplied with the school items. Because these people could be already on limited incomes themselves, fixed limited income. This is the reason why we need help to get the rental assistance out as quickly as possible. The source of income should be a protection in our anti-discrimination ordinance, the countywide one particularly, because this will help to decrease the disaster of people being pushed into homelessness. Then, when you want to develop Jacobs Field to be another family-oriented place for people to have a quality of life, then at least maybe they can think about saving that $100 to buy that package deal Ms. Baker has been putting so much effort into. Even right now, think about yourself. Will you be able to afford that $100 taking all your grandchildren or your little nieces and nephews to go to see the game? Then think about later if the renovation also give us the horrible bathroom, just like what they did with the Q and homeless shelter. Let me tell you, I do feel like home now. Even I am homeless. Thank you very much.
Wendell Fields?
How are you tonight? My name is Wendell Fields, and I'm here for the Progressive Field Lease. I am the executive director of the B-Buzz Baseball League program. You know, B-Buzz was founded in the 1950s and was an intricate part of the community, especially when I grew up. In 1969, there were over 5 leagues that played in that area, and with over 300 kids. By the 1980, the league started to dissolve, but in 2014, a group of alumni, including myself, decided to bring the league back. We brought it back also with the 501c3 program, which gives us a lot of leeway when it comes to being helping the kids in the community. The newly found board of directors actually partnered with Cuyahoga County Fathers Initiative Program, also the Big Brothers and Big Sisters Program, to help give the kids a little bit more than just baseball, but also help them do that. In 2019, though, everything changed. We were lucky enough to form a relationship with the Major League Baseball, and in 2021, the Cleveland Indians, now Guardians, actually came to us and wanted us to join their pilot program, which gave us tremendous opportunity, tremendous help for our kids. Last year, we registered over 122 kids. This year, we're actually in line to do over 250. And so we're hoping by 2025, we would have almost 350 kids participating in our program. Not only did the money that the Indians helped provide and give us stability, but me as the commissioner really eased a lot of burden for me, mid-season funding, all the things that I go through stressing out about what we're going to do to help complete the season. Their support also allowed to buy not only personal uniforms, baseball equipment, face protection, which was an extra added cost that we weren't expecting this year because of COVID, but also book packs, water bottles, baseball equipment, if I said so. To my knowledge, the Indians have donated almost $71 million to the community when it comes to youth and helping the youth. And so we're really on board and proud of them. And if it wasn't for the Indians, I don't think that the Cleveland City School baseball program would even be funded right now because of the Dolan program, Dolan family, I'm sorry. I'm here today just to give my support. I don't know all the litigations and what it takes to make the lease happen. I know how to coach baseball and help kids become better citizens. And with the help of the Indians, I can't tell you what a burden that has been, a relief off of me and where we plan to go in the future. And you know, please, whatever you guys need to do to keep this program going, to keep the Indians Guardians here, please do so. Thank you.
Brian Hall.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. President Jones and Vice President Stevens and members of council. I'm glad to be here this evening to express my support for the Cleveland Guardians and Progressive Field for Resolution 2021-218 and 219, which authorize upgrades and renovations to Progressive Field and ensure the extension of the lease. The last time I was here, we were talking about the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and mainly the reasons are the same: the economic impact to our community, the significant amount of resources that brings in terms of jobs. You've already heard about the people who come from out of town for our sports teams and how it supports business. I'm also a supporter of Dante's, thank you, Dante, restaurant, several of them. So I just personally think this is a great idea. I've been a business person for 30 years. I work at the Greater Cleveland Partnership now, where we really focus on equity and inclusion. We've seen the statistics for how many people are included in the workforce there. We've already had conversations with the Guardians about how they'll approach the inclusion efforts of the building of the project itself, and I'm proud to say that they will follow what you guys have authorized in terms of community benefit agreement, and they've already made that commitment. So beyond these impacts, the legislation is critical to paving the way for major ballparks improvements. We know that we want our city to be one of the few, if not the only, middle market city that's able to maintain 3 major league sports. And we do that because we invest in our property and that we work to keep our properties up to date. So thank you very much for that consideration.
That concludes the public comment portion of the meeting.
All right, thank you, Andrea. At this time, can I have a motion to approve our minutes as printed on our agenda?
So moved. Second, Shrine.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Our minutes are approved. At this time, we'll have messages from our county executive.
Thank you, Mr. President. 7 weeks ago, I introduced legislation designed to maintain and improve Progressive Field. I and a team from the county, Mayor Jackson, Ken Silliman, and Gateway, the leadership of the Guardians, had all been meeting, talking, and negotiating for a long time, and the legislation before you is the result. There are 2 primary reasons we brought the legislation to you. First, Progressive Field belongs to the public, and we have to keep it up as a first-class facility. That is our responsibility. Second is to keep the baseball team in Northeast Ohio. The improvements to the field are necessary to keep the team here. There are cities around the country looking to attract a baseball team. It's very competitive. We're fortunate here because the Dolan family wants to keep the team in Cleveland. But we still have to provide a competitive lease, and that's what we've done. A baseball team is an economic generator. The team itself provides lots and lots of jobs. And on game days, the fans patronize restaurants and bars that provide lots more jobs. Now, nothing I've just said is new. You've done your homework, you've conducted multiple hearings, and you've heard from lots of witnesses. This Progressive Field legislation is crucial to keeping the Guardians here in town. I urge you all to vote to pass this legislation today. Thank you.
All right. At this time, legislation introduced by executive. Consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption under suspension of rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second, Simon.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution 2021-0248, amending the 2020-2021 biennial operating budget for 2021 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers, and amending resolution number R 2021-0228, dated October 12th, 2021.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, my colleagues, this resolution is the regular fiscal agenda of budget amendments. The answers to our questions to OBM are on your desk. Most items are appropriations of grants and routine transfers. Notable is the appropriation of $7 million for the second and final payment on our commitment to the Sherwin-Williams project. Also, $1,006,000 in additional state WIOA funds are appropriated for workforce development for dislocated workers. Finally, funds are appropriated for previously approved public works and capital projects. I recommend passage on first reading suspension.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution 2021-0249, approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and Laborers International Union of North America, Local 860, representing approximately 68 employees in 3 classifications in the Department of Public Works, Sanitary Sewer Division for the period January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Second, Conwell.
This item was discussed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution 2021-0250, confirming the county executive's reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities for the term January 27th, 2022 through January 22nd, 2026 for the following individuals: Lisa M. Hunt and Moselle Jackson.
This item will be referred to Human Resources, Appointments, and Equity Committee.
Resolution 2021-0251, confirming the county executive's appointment of Carolyn Eisenhart to serve on the Cuyahoga Arts and Culture Board of Trustees for an unexpired term ending March 31st, 2024.
This item is being referred to Human Resources.
Mr. President,
Councilman Miller.
may I have my name added as a sponsor on this item?
Let us add Councilman Miller's name.
Duly noted. Resolution 2021-0252, authorizing an amendment to Revenue Generating Agreement Number 50 with City of Cleveland to lease space in the City of Cleveland's Police Department headquarters, located at 1300 Ontario Street in Cleveland, for the period October 2nd, 2018 through October 1st, 2021, to exercise an option to extend the time period to October 1st, 2022. And for a lease amount of $16 per square foot per annum, plus parking fees and the cost of the City of Cleveland's proportional share of utilities.
This item will be referred to the Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee.
Resolution 2021-0253, authorizing an amendment to Revenue Generating Agreement Number 1864 with the Huntington National Bank, the successor in interest of First Merit Corporation, for the sale of naming rights for the Cleveland Convention Center for the period November 1st, 2015 through October 31st, 2035, to extend the time period to October 31st, 2036.
This item is being referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0254, approving right-of-way exhibits as set forth in Plat Number M5051 for reconstruction of Stearns Road from Shady Road to Bagley Road in Olmsted Township. Authorizing the county executive through the Department of Public Works to acquire said necessary rights-of-way.
This item is being referred to the Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0255, authorizing a contract with Clark, Schaefer, Hackett, and Co. in the amount not to exceed $2,320,000 for annual audits for calendar years 2021 through 2025 for the period September 30th, 2021 through December 31st, 2026.
This item is being referred to the Finance and Budgeting Committee.
Resolution 2021-0256, designating agreements with various eligible institutions as public depositories of active and interim funds of Cuyahoga County in the total deposit limit not to exceed $1,215,000,000 for the period August 1st, 2021 through April 1st, 2024, in accordance with the Uniform Depository Act of Ohio, as listed on the agenda A through G.
Council, we're going to send this item to the Community and Development Committee.
Resolution 2021-0257, authorizing an amendment to contract number 256 with Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry for adult guardianship services for the period January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $605,285.
This item will be referred to the Health, Human Services, and Aging Committee. Committee reports in consideration of a resolution for second reading.
Resolution 2021-0246, authorizing contract number 1904 with Fund for Our Economic Future of Northeast Ohio as fiscal agent in the amount not to exceed $1,450,000 to support workforce innovation and coordination in healthcare, manufacturing, information technology, and hospitality sectors in connection with the Workforce Connect Development Program for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024.
This item will move to the November 23rd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for third reading adoption.
Resolution 2021-0218, amending the 2020-2021 biennial operating budget for 2021 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations, appropriation transfers, and cash transfers.
Move to adopt.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
Mr. President, and my colleagues, I'm going to address these remarks to both this resolution and the next one, both of which relate to the Guardians lease. The way that sports teams are located in this country is broken. The system favors the team owners to the advantage of local governments. We require a national solution to this problem. If there is not such a solution, there will come a day when we can no longer support 3 major league sports franchises. We are a medium-sized city with lots of other needs. Fortunately, today is not that day. This lease extension with the Guardians is a good solution under the circumstances. We wisely renovate our existing facility rather than building new. We simply cannot afford to build new facilities every 20 to 25 years at a cost of $1 billion or more. Our only way to stay in this game is to make our facilities last a long time, like Fenway Park in Boston and Wrigley Field in Chicago. Our baseball team has been a part of Cleveland since 1901. They are not only a part of our economy, they are also a part of our culture and our history. Baseball lifts our spirits, and I reject the idea that we can't put a good team on the field. Prior to this year, they had a winning record for 8 consecutive seasons. Twice in my adult life, they took their quest for the championship to extra innings in Game 7 of the World Series. The baseball team has also been a part of Cleveland's growth as a vibrant downtown residential community. The county's commitment to the project is between 0.5% and 1% of our all-funds budget over the next 15 years. That is a reasonable commitment that makes sense for Greater Cleveland. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. President?
Councilman?
Thank you, and I'll address this piece of legislation as well as the next piece with respect to the Guardians and Progressive Field. Getting this legislation passed is critical, and I urge my colleagues to vote for these 2 pieces of legislation. The huge positive economic impact on Cuyahoga County is something that will last for decades. The jobs, the revenues created by food, beverage, merchandising, and events, not to mention the jobs that will be done at Progressive Field with union contracts, as well as other contractors working on improvements, will be critical to the ongoing economic success of Cuyahoga County. And finally, I want to say thank you to the Guardian ownership for sharing and laying out a clear vision of what they intend what they intend to do that is both inclusive and forward-looking for all members of our community. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Any further discussion, comments? Councilwoman Simon.
Just a question, and I don't know if this is the time. We have the 2 pieces in front of us about the vote from Cleveland City Council and the timing of how we proceed, and if they do not pass their legislation related to this issue.
Do we have someone who can speak to that?
Mr. Chairman, this is Greg. We know that, well, we don't know when they're going to vote, but in the reality is the project can't happen if they don't vote to put money into it. So we won't close unless they voted to approve it. We won't close on the authorization that's granted here.
Do we have to rescind legislation if it passes tonight, or we pass it and we just don't proceed?
Correct.
I just want to state that, for years, I've been sitting here watching public subsidy into the sports teams and reluctantly support this because I understand and can see firsthand how important it is to not only the community, but to the residents with regard to our sports facility and the teams. I know firsthand when I became a new lawyer, that's a long time ago when we didn't have this, and I've worked downtown, and it was a ghost town. I was walking out of, on the streets of Cleveland, and it was desolate and not vibrant, and the transformation, at least with regard to the traffic and the pride in the city, was transformational. And for, to sit here today and vote against something that's so supportive to the city and the residents in the county, I'm not going to do that. But at some point, there might come a day when the cost-benefit analysis does not lead me to continue this support, but it's the model we have, and Councilman Miller said it, until something changes, this is vital to a community that they're sports fanatics. So got to do it and support it, and I will be doing that.
Councilwoman Stevens.
My very first memories of sports were my father taking me to a baseball game when I was 4 or 5 in Japan, because he was part of the armed forces as an Air Force enlisted officer in Okinawa, Japan. The Japanese love baseball. We love baseball. It was something that stands out in my memories. It is also probably for most Americans the first sport they engage in. It's something that's symbolic of this country in many ways. And what we are doing here today is important for this region, not just this city and this county. My work takes me all over Northeast Ohio. And every little kid knows who the Guardians are. And they talk about some piece of baseball beginning in the spring with spring training. This is part of our culture, and it is incredibly important from my other hat on economic development and community development piece. We do the best we can in our negotiations with the team, and we support this activity. And so on behalf of my constituents, I will be supporting this. And I hope that on behalf of our collective constituents in Northeast Ohio, the team brings us a pennant in the next couple of years. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. President.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Baker.
Thank you. I do have some good news to share. After the presentation at our last committee meeting by Alex King, the Senior Vice President, Marketing and Strategy for Progressive Field, he's confirmed with me that the family ticket price that was mentioned a little earlier, that I asked him to consider lowering so our families can afford to attend a Sunday baseball game, will be $80 for a family of 4, and $40 of that ticket will include food and drink and access to the family deck that features the indoor kids clubhouse and play area and the outdoor area dedicated to the entire family seating. And I checked the food prices too. You can easily purchase a soft drink and hot dog or hamburger for $10 or less. So for $80, you can purchase an all-in family ticket for 4 that in reality is $10 a ticket and includes lunch. A family of 5 is $20 more, and a family of 3 is $20 less. And I just want to say on a personal note that I want to thank Alex and his team for listening and giving our hardworking middle-class families a break so they can attend any Sunday home ball game. And this extends beyond mom and dad, grandparents with grandchildren, aunts and uncles with nieces and nephews, any combination as long as there's 1 or more that are 18 or younger that are within the group. So thank you for making it possible for our families to afford to come to Progressive Field on any given Sunday and for the love of the game. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this should be the prototype on how deals like this are done. A shout out to our administrator, Ken Silliman, Mr. Wilcox, to the Indians, everybody rolled up their sleeves and did the job that they should do for our county. And what I like about what happened is it's not only going to make it a nice stadium, but the nice stadium's going to give the opportunity for the Indians to be competitive. The more competitive they are, the more dollars are going to be generated for us. More dollars generated for us is going to be the opportunity to do good things for our citizens. And I really want to shout out to my council president, the way you did this deliberately. It wasn't rushed. It was 3 readings, normal course of action. Everybody had an opportunity to testify and wrap it all up. It's, once again, the prototype of how business should be conducted, from my opinion. Thank you.
All right, any further? And I'll just say I love baseball. I'm glad our team is here for another 13 years.
Plus.
Again, plus, most definitely. So again, I just want to thank the Indians, acknowledge that the county executive and those in the leadership who have worked to negotiate this deal, and it is a winner for the entire region, as Councilwoman Stevens mentioned. So at this time,
One more. Okay.
oh, please, go right ahead, Councilwoman.
Sorry about that. I forgot to give one shout out, and that's my longtime partner at City Hall, is Sharon Dumas. She played an extraordinary role that no one knows about. The city's negotiation, we had the county, but we had Ken Silliman, Mr. Wilcox, but Sharon Dumas from the city. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention her name in public. Thank you, and I'll try to hold myself off in future interruptions of you.
All right, well, we will have resolution 2021-0218. We will have a roll call. Sure. Andrea, let's do this as a roll call.
Calling the roll, Ms. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Absolutely.
Mr. Tuma?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
Yes.
Mr. Schran?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell?
Yes.
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Council President Jones?
Yes.
10 council members were voting in the affirmative. The motion carries.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would read the next item into the record.
Resolution 2021-0219, authorizing the issuance and sale of one or more series of county sales tax revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $202,500,000 for the purpose of paying or reimbursing the cost of reconstructing, refurbishing, renovating, upgrading, improving, and equipping Progressive Field, together with appurtenances and work incidental thereto.
All right, at this time, we have a proposed amendment to Resolution 2021-0219. As you know, there is a proposed substitute for this legislation. The state legislature is considering allowing sports betting in the state of Ohio, including in professional sports facilities. This proposed substitute simply ensures that no public funds can be used for any sports gambling activities within the ballpark. The Cleveland Guardians are not opposed to this substitute language, and I am asking my colleagues for your support.
So move. Second.
So it has been properly moved by Councilman Schran and seconded by Councilman Sweeney. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of accepting the proposed amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Mr. President,
Councilman Miller.
I'll move to pass the legislation as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved by
Simon.
Councilman Miller and seconded by Councilwoman Simon. Any further discussion?
Mr. President?
Yes.
I just had one comment that I wanted to make previously. I just want to thank the team for changing the name of the team to the Guardians. I don't think I've spoken of this publicly, that I'm proud to support this legislation, knowing that the name has changed and will reflect a modern team and reflect all of our county residents who, you know, obviously not everybody was on board with having that name going forward in perpetuity. So I just want to thank you for all of the work, and I think it's a great name, and I think it fits our city.
Councilwoman Stevens.
In keeping with what my colleague Simon talked about, I am also glad to support the fact that through Gateway and a partnership with Gateway and a commitment by the county, Gateway, and the Guardians, there will be diversity in the hiring, in the contracting, and the participation of what we believe is the greater Cleveland's richness and who works here and earns money here. I was pleased to see that there was a commitment to make sure that everyone shares in the wealth that is the Guardians in this marketplace. And so that was another reason to support this. And I will look forward to getting reports on the participation from minority vendors and contractors, as well as especially the construction contractors. And with the support of the unions on this type of activity, we will see decent living wages on everything. And that reminds me that I'm also appreciative for the chart that showed where the folks who work for the Guardians live and how much money is spent in payroll. But we also want to just remind you that a decent living wage for every single employee is incredibly important. And so we'd like to see the lowest wage be $15 at the field. Thank you.
This time, Councilman Schron.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to speak up at the 20-0219 because this is the one that actually puts this into action. So I wanted to thank the Dolans for, obviously they are the ones that control the major decision in regards to this. We can all talk about where the decisions and activity get done, but when you've got an ownership of of what you've got here with the team, the decision ultimately was with the Dolan family, and so we wish that to thank them for that. I also thank them for supporting the non-gambling aspects of this, so that there was no question about that aspect. And we all remember the car advertisement that went something about baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and some car. I don't remember what the car name was, but I really do. But it's all part of our culture, and I will never forget being at both those Game 7s with my family, and it will be a memory long lasting. And if you look at one of, I think, Game 1 of the last time we were in the World Series, if you look out in the outfield, there were 8 Ks being held up in the outfield. That was my family with my kids and my daughter-in-laws, and so it's a memory that forever will last with me. So thank you, the Dolan family, for making this, and the county executive for taking the leadership role on this. Thank you.
Further discussion, Councilman.
Thank you. As Mr. Miller said earlier, and he's a big baseball fan, as I am, you know, going to an Indians game your first time is something you don't get out of your head. Walking down the tunnel up to the field boxes and seeing Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris in the flesh is something that you just don't forget. Granted, at the end of their careers, but it was something you don't forget. And as we progressed through the years with the Indians, as they were, it gave us memories that we just can't forget. But Mr. Miller said there comes a time when you just can't afford things. We've gone through a budget process where these dollars aren't in the budget. We're being told that, you know, we don't have the money as we go forward. The time for me is now. I'll be voting no. I cannot support this. While I have seniors still out on the streets, but we have homeless problems, when we're struggling to pay our bills, there comes a time we have to make a stand. And that they, for me, for my constituents, whether they believe in what I believe, I don't know. I guess I'll find out at the ballot box. But I think I read them pretty well. I can't afford this. We can't afford this. The deal with the Cavaliers and Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse was really a question of, do we let the perfect get in the way of the good? It was a good deal. That's our facility. If things go south, that's county's facility. And that was basically a 60-40 split with the Cavaliers picking up the heavy end. I thought we had a precedent set. This flips it on its head. it's 60-40 the other way. And that facility is Cleveland's facility. Yet we're carrying the bonds. We have a jail to bond. We have a justice center eventually to bond. Whether I'm around or any of us are around for that, I don't know. We need the space and bonding, but I'm being told it's just so complicated that we can't explain it to you. Well, I'm pretty sharp. It's not our facility. We shouldn't be bonding this. So the day to say no for me, unfortunately, is today.
These three facilities have football, baseball, basketball. These facilities are government-owned. They are publicly owned. They belong to the people, and they are revenue generators. I think every average citizen gets the concept of a landlord owning a property, receiving their rent, and paying the expenses. I respect my colleagues' comments in terms of the ratios and the dollars, but these are assets to our community. Some of their numbers are intangible, but they're clear dollars, and we've heard it before in this room. The hotel industry, the restaurant industry, the sales tax dollars that are generated, the revenues that are generated because of this facility. For it to not be here would leave a void in that tax base that cannot be measured in just simple dollars. I ask my colleagues for your support for this project. Are there any other comments? If not, let's have a roll call.
Ms. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Absolutely.
Mr. Tuma?
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher?
No.
Mr. Schron?
Yes.
Ms. Conwell? Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Simon?
Yes.
Council President Jones?
Yes.
We have 9 council members voting in the affirmative and 1 council member casting a dissenting vote. And the motion carries and the item is approved.
All right. Committee report and consideration of an ordinance for third reading adoption.
Ordinance 2021-0013, an ordinance amending Chapter 503 of the Cuyahoga County Code, Small Business Enterprise Program Policies and Procedures, to approve revised Cuyahoga County Small Business Enterprise Program Policies and Procedures effective November 15th, 2021, and adopt Minority Business Enterprise and Women Business Enterprise Program Policies and Procedures, also effective November 15th, 2021.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, this, as indicated, is updating the county's SBE program policies and procedure manuals and adopting the county's MBE, WBE program policies and procedures manual. Director Lenora Lockett presented at the Public Works Committee on September 22nd and October 20th. We had a lot of discussion on this. The county recently established the Department of Equity and Inclusion, and under the leadership of Director Lockett, we had already adopted SBE policies but needed to update them. The MBE and WBE policies are new, and these manuals will assist the county in implementing the recommendations from Griffin and Strong and the recent disparity study. These new policies will allow full and open competition for county business, will encourage Cuyahoga County to be a business partner for entities that have not traditionally been engaged with the county, and will foster a more inclusive business climate in the region. Director Lockett worked extremely hard on these manuals, and the content of these policies comply with the county's mission and the recommendations of the Citizens Advisory Council on Equity, as well as the recent disparity study results. And I would ask my colleagues to support this legislation, which is very important moving forward.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted.
Mr. President,
Yes, Councilman.
I would like to ask that my name be added.
Audrey, would you add my name as well?
If you could add my name as well, thank you.
No further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, at this time, are there any, let us have our miscellaneous committee reports.
Mr. President, and my colleagues, we have The Committee of the Whole for the budget hearing scheduled for this coming Monday at 1 p.m. and also for the following Monday, if needed, at 1 p.m. And also on one of those days, we'll also try to squeeze in a Finance and Budget Committee meeting for the two items that were referred, so stay tuned. Thank you.
Mr. President, Public Works Contracting will meet next week at its regularly scheduled time. Thank you.
President, Safety, 1 o'clock Tuesday.
Health and Human Services, Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Mr. President,
Yes?
the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee will meet on Tuesday, November 16th at 10 to discuss the items on today's agenda. Also, County Operations, Intergovernmental Relations, and Public Transportation will also meet on Tuesday, 11/16 at 3 o'clock. We'll be discussing the Inspector General Mark Griffin's semi-annual Agency of Inspector General report, and will we receive an update from RTA CEO India Birdsong on the initiatives and challenges with RTA.
Further reports?
Mr. President, Community Development needs to meet on Monday, November 15th to review the depository agreements with the lenders.
Further comments, reports? Just to note, the completion of our executive session, we will again incorporate it into the November 15th Finance Budget Committee time at 1 o'clock.
Mr. Chairman? Before miscellaneous, I'd just like my name added to the resolutions with both of them for the Indians. Can I do that?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Duly noted.
All right, if there are no more reports, is there any
Guardians. That was a slip.
miscellaneous business? Not, if nothing else holds our attention, our meeting is adjourned.